Hey there, welcome to Marketing Mavericks with Indiefolio. Today we have Sai Narayan with us, who's the Chief Marketing Officer at Policy Bazaar. Sai spent the last 15 years marketing insurance to various consumers, starting with Max Life Insurance, then Aviva, and right now in Policy Bazaar. I'm very excited to unpack everything insurance with him, learn a lot about marketing, and unpack a lot more insights for the viewers. Thanks for your time, Sai. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Kavan. Thank you so much, and very happy to interact with you on this podcast.
Superb. I'll start right away. And my first question to you is to know a little bit more about your journey. When was it the first time that you realized that marketing is what you want to build your career in?
Wow, I have to really go back in time for this to answer this, but uh, but I think I somehow stumbled upon marketing. Yeah, even never thought about, oh, I will get into marketing. Just to tell you, when back in the days when I was doing my college and I was still as a young graduate trying to figure out what needs to be, what to do, what not to do. In those days, you had this lot of these multimedia, and multimedia was really booming in India. This is early 2000s, and a lot of these graphics, animation, and there was every I'm born and brought up in Delhi. I'm in Tamilian, but born and brought up in Delhi. So in Delhi, every nook and corner, you would see these different boards of Arena Multimedia and Aptech, multimedia, and everyone's talking about multimedia is a big thing, and everyone was doing e-commerce is going to boom, and people were only talking about this, but no one knew what it is exactly. So I was just generally, and Google was just coming along in India. So I was just generally, searching and found some softwares like Adobe Photoshop and all, and actually self trained myself into Photoshop, and I started loving graphics and creating some stuff and all, and then somehow that time television as a media, a lot of news channels were booming at that point of time, early 2000s, when the 24 and 24/7 news channels were coming up a lot. So that's when Aaj Tak, there was a channel, and somehow I knew someone there. A friend was got a job there as a part timer, and he was into TV journalism, and he knew that I'm into Photoshop and all. And he just called me that if you have free and want to earn some bucks, then why don't you come over and meet. So I said कि "Look, काम क्या है ये तो बता दे." So then he said, you just come over and we'll figure out. So those days, what used to happen was, there used to be this the entire live show that used to happen where the anchor is on the field, and he used to show the graphics on the from the studio. So they used to kind of put the image of the minister or the person they're talking about on air, and the journalist is talking from the ground. So my job was as simple as and a lot of these photographers used to click photographs of journalists, of ministers and sports personalities and celebrities, and they used to have in transparencies, they used to call TPs at that point of time. So my job was to just scan those TPs, crop it in a specific aspect ratio, and do some bit color correction, and just upload it and put it on air. So, and for that I used to get around $10 per TP for transparency done. So, and I somehow it was and they gave us, like, we were a bunch of 3-4 people. They gave us a very cool office space, and just imagine those days, the journalists coming in, walking in, and somehow those entire atmosphere was very, very I would say that it was it kind of gave me an adrenal rush, that what a great atmosphere to work, and looking at these journalists, and and some of my transparencies are going on TV, on air, and everything. So obviously our names never appeared, but it was just a, as a young guy, it kind of, I was very enamored by the entire setting. And somehow I felt that I want to get into news, news journalism and television, and I want to just get into this. So that's when I started getting deep into more graphics, and from one thing happened, other thing happened, and there was a show called there in Doordarshan, there used to be a show called Cool Talk Cafe. By saying Doordarshan, I'm sounding myself as if I've come from a very different age. Don't try and guess my age now. So So there used to be a show called Cool Talk Cafe, and in Archtak, one of the journalists recommended my name, and then I used to do graphics for them, like you. The first time my name appeared in a television, like the show's name was Cool Talk Cafe, and in graphic designer Sai Narayan, my name used to appear. So somehow, I was in that journey, and after that, I just finished my graduation and was just looking for a job as a graphic designer or an editor. But I actually at that point of time felt that it's a very very vast subject, and I was doing a very basic. I was not like a great designer or something. I just knew some stuff, and I just felt that there were other people who were like just doing fantastic job. And I wanted to do my masters. So and I was in a break for a year, and that year I just took up a job in in hindsight I know that I was working for one of the leading petroleum company at that point of time, which is Exxon Mobil Lubricants. So I was working with them, and there I kind of first time I understood the entire how a large corporation works.
Hmm.
There are different, like I was part of the logistics team. What happens, like for example, Exxon Mobil is part of the entire lubrication industry, different oils. So where the entire from the plant, how the oil comes, what happened, the sales team getting involved, there is a marketing team, there is a customer service team. All of these guys come together to supply the a barrel to the end customer. Big names at that point of time. I didn't do much, but I was like a fly on the wall and trying to observe the entire proceedings. I knew that after like 1 year I'm going to go and do my masters. When I understood this, somewhere marketing and logistics and all these things really really appealed to me. And then when I did my masters, I wanted to specialize in marketing. That's how the germ of marketing kind of so by then my excitement for journalism and television media had pretty much died. And also interesting thing that at that time someone had referred to me to a marketing expert who used to be the ex vice president marketing of no, at that point of time, now is ex, so of Voltas as a company. And uh, and I was very good at making PowerPoint presentations. So he referred me to him, and he used to. The entire deal was that that they wanted some MBAs who had some free time and come there and make PowerPoint presentations for them, like the marketing presentations. So when I was making the marketing presentations for Voltas, I really really found it super interesting. How there is an advertising campaign, how there is a distributor, how there is print media, how they use media mix to promote air conditioners. And I used to make those presentations for the VP marketing there, and they used to give me around $50 per slide, that kind of thing. So that was, but again, it was very interesting. So that again made me want to get into the depth of marketing. Before actually joining marketing, I started my career in advertising.
Hmm.
So my the first internship after my college was with J. Walter Thompson, and then Euro RSCG. Couple of companies I worked there. I was an intern there. Was working on multiple accounts like Mortin, Voltas, and Nestle. So again at that point of time, it was extremely exciting. That's just to see how just a small marketing brief translates into a great advertising idea, and then the entire production of that. So I very closely have seen the entire in J. Walter Thompson. I've seen how the big Pepsi campaigns were created, how the big Mortin campaigns were created. And then my first big advertising job was with Publicis, where I was managing multiple accounts and doing the advertising for them. But I always somewhere at that point of time I was when I used to meet the clients, I was very clear. Like for example, I still remember I was in one of the client office. I looked around and somehow manifested that I want to be here, managing a marketing function someday. And I felt that I should be able to do this. And then to be honest, I have never touched wood, at least till date, I've never interviewed for a job. So wherever I've worked, people have kind of said that why don't you try this, why don't you try that, and that's how pretty much I've landed up in marketing and joined Policy. Even Policy Bazaar was this when from I was in Aviva, and then when Naveen, who's the CEO of Paisa Bazaar now, who had earlier joined as a CMO of Policy Bazaar, and Naveen had moved here, and they were looking for a brand head, and he said that he seen me work there, so he said, why don't you try this out, and there is an opening, and I in fact at that time, Yashish was a founder. I met Yashish. Yashish said, Naveen knows you. I'm fine. Just start working. So pretty much that's how it happened. So that's my journey into marketing. Never thought I would be a marketer someday, but yeah, how you take some choices in life and move along with people. But I think I've been quite lucky that I've worked with some of very very good people
Hmm.
who have from whom I've understood and learned how marketing works, marketing functions, and some great minds that has led to this.
Absolutely. What an interesting story, Sai, because like I also was excited with design.
Yeah,
You seeing these arena, they're still there.
yeah,
Billboards and those posters everywhere.
yeah.
And I think making PPTs with a top marketer at right at the early stage of a career is like a brilliant idea. If any young person's listening to this, I think that's
Yeah,
something.
again, I mean, it was never a plan, or you don't plan these things.
Right.
But one thing I was very clear that one of my bosses early in advertising, they said that the interns in advertising back in the days, I think these days interns have it very very good. Huh? Again, sorry, I'm talking like a man from 60s 70s. हमारे ज़माने में तो ऐसा होता था. But interns back then had a very very tough time, huh? From
Yeah.
serving coffee to just getting the printouts. So I was super frustrated one day, and he said, if you're getting a printout, just try and read what the printout is. You'll understand a lot of things. So there's small tips that stay with you. Unlike the regular story of just going to the B school and getting
Right.
into the sales. That's not my journey. My journey was very very different.
So encouraging to hear for so many people who maybe did engineering or commerce and are now like excited by, there's a lot of excitement in marketing and
Yeah.
they are kind of confused what to do. I think you and a lot of other CMOs have, spoken to so far. There's been a common pattern with top operators that it's unplanned, of course, but you did end up being very curious at the earlier stages of your life
Yeah.
and tried multiple things, which is why I think it compounded over a long time period.
And also, Kavan, I think one should understand that we are the generation who were born before the boom of internet.
Yeah.
Getting your point. So I think we are migrants. So we are migrants, but still I know that a lot of CMO colleagues of mine who are managing consumer technology today.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's talks a lot about the adaptability and understanding of this medium, because we are crossed over. We've
Yeah.
seen it happen in front of our eyes. We've seen the change happen in front of our eyes. The
Absolutely.
entire
I think
digital
I
revolution.
think it also really plays an advantage that India is really like three, four countries in itself with different patterns.
Yeah,
So as someone who's seen the transition can kind of empathize much better with the larger people at stake, because like my generation who's very much excited to work with someone like you, especially in tier one cities like Mumbai, they have absolutely no clue, what's happening when you're selling something like an insurance product, or
yeah.
tomorrow something like a balm to people, and they just don't know how commerce actually happens on a day-to-day basis with everyone. So that definitely must be something which does play to your generation's advantages. I wanted to ask you the next question about generally your focus on insurance, right? You've spent 15 years within that, and you started with Max. So was that a decision that you were excited about the insurance space, or did that also happen organically?
No, I think that's also happened organically. Yeah. So I think to be honest, when I was in advertising, I was very keen to move into the marketing side.
Hmm.
And to be honest, I had a few options at that time. There was a consumer durable category. Plus, there was an insurance category. But again, somehow I have this tendency of choosing people over category.
Hmm.
So in Max also, the CMO at that point of time was the head of branch at Euro RC, where I was an intern. So maybe call it, it was a comfort factor, or somewhere, it's a known devil was an unknown devil. I don't know what played in my mind. Somehow I went with, and also genuinely I believe that that person was a very shrewd, in excellent, extremely knowledgeable in the field of marketing and advertising. So somehow, because I knew that, I chose that. So that's how I pick my projects basis people than the brand that I want to work. Maybe I don't know if it's good or not, but that's how my journey has been. And similarly, Aviva also was the same journey, where Aviva was one of the clients I used to manage in when I used to be in Publicis. And oh god, how much I've learned from that team, the entire Aviva team. It's mind boggling. They used to do this their entire campaign planning used to be a workshop where they used to do this IDA model, which is, sorry, DIA model, something they used to call it, which is a day in life of a consumer. How does a day in life of a consumer look like? What are the different touch points? How can we advertise? So I kind of learned so much from them, and I still even today apply these models in my marketing within the team. Crop of Aviva team was so good that that was like a training ground. And when I got an opportunity to work in close quarters with them, I didn't even blink an eyelid. So that's how Aviva happened, and from Aviva how Policy Bazaar happened is also a similar story. So
Yeah.
actually, to be honest, when I'm talking to you in hindsight, I just feel that I've stayed in the insurance industry not because of the category. To be honest, it's because of the people I work with. So I started liking the entire
Yeah. Yeah.
insurance space.
Right.
It's very difficult and very challenging, but super interesting.
The reason I asked you, I was just wondering what can be that one core question or core insight I can get some thoughts on from you. And it came down to the fact that, you've literally been focusing on the insurance segment for 15 plus years. And
Yeah.
what you'll have an access to is understand how insurance has generally developed in people's mind in India over the years. So I really wanted to ask you, I mean, insurance was always, and I'm also kind of growing older and older and taking it more seriously, but as a child, it's always boring. I don't want to look at it. Now, because of people like Policy Bazaar, it's actually easier now to understand and transact. But before that, it's like, oh my God, it's too complicated for me. I don't want to care. Do you see that it's changed now, and has it changed across gender, like the strata of people? Any opinions on the evolution of insurance in the last 15 years under you would be really awesome to hear.
The insurance category kind of grow and become what it has become today. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest reason for people thinking it's boring and I don't understand it was because there was very low consumer intent towards a category. Back in the days, it was very low consumer intent. The entire insurance sector was seen as LIC. That's about it. ये LIC के कुछ agents होते हैं जो who happens to be your neighbor or father's best friend's friend or first cousin, who will come to your house on a Sunday afternoon, saying that I'm coming, dropping over for a cup of tea. He'll come for a cup of tea, and by the end of it, you will be signing a check, and you will have a policy, and then you will be, buying that. You will be paying premium for that policy. You don't know what's happening. What is the So if you ask after 5 years, what is the policy that you bought, they won't know. If you ask the name of the policy, they won't know. If you ask them where the policy is kept, they won't know. But they will keep paying premium because they have committed to it. It's as simple as that. And after the end of the term, they'll get some kind of money back or something like that, and they are pretty much happy with that. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that the entire model pretty much a push product, where
Right.
someone would, for the lack of being so being nice to the category. So it's pretty much an insurance policy was pushed down your throat. That
Hmm.
you end up buying it without knowing. I've seen a lot of people, after paying for 5, 7 years, they will cancel their policies and they say, "Ki, yaar, why am I paying for this?" So
Right.
there was this entire scenario, entire behavior of where people would buy it because ठीक है थोड़ा टैक्स सेव हो जाता है but no one was thinking it from a pure protection point of view.
Hmm.
Hardly. I still remember my dad, he used to say that, why should I buy a term plan, you know but मतलब कुछ मिलना तो है नहीं.
Yeah.
So these kind of conversation used to happen. Health insurance was तो मतलब don't even ask. Then if some of the officers would provide, they would have. Otherwise, no one was even thinking of health insurance. I still remember some agent had given my mother a health insurance policy at that point of time. She was paying premium, and she got admitted for some minor surgery. And on the day of the surgery, our agent told that no, this disease is not covered.
Hmm.
So what I'm trying to say is that people used to buy it, and so therefore there was a lot of mistrust
Hmm.
in the category. Again, I also remember that in one of the earlier companies, I won't say which one, uh, I had this conversation with the sales head that and at that point of time, we used to, as a marketing unit, we used to advertise a lot of child plans. Child plan, basically telling the parent the importance of educating your child or the child plan and everything. And one of the sales head came and told me that यार साई तुम child plan करते रहते हो, तुम्हें पता है कितना child plan बिकता है? So I told him that this is the share of child plan. So do you know the share of non-child plan? So I said this is the non-share of child plan. So basically the share of non-child plan was much higher than the share of child plan. So
Hmm.
then he said that, so whatever you do, Sai, insurance is actually sold and not bought. So at that point of time, what was happening was even the marketing was seen as, you give some kind of, air cover during
Yeah.
the key months like January, February. So all our budgets used to be skewed towards January, February, and March, like 80%. And the rest of the month, you would pretty much, do product launches and so on and so forth. So it was again, it was pretty much the scenario was pushed. When I joined a Policy Bazaar, I usually see my insurance journey pre Policy Bazaar and post Policy Bazaar actually.
Hmm.
So that's, I think that's a best way to look at it. What Policy Bazaar did was actually it just absolutely changed the way insurance is bought in India. So if you look at what Policy Bazaar did and look at our first campaign that we did was uh, that the fact that the Ullu Mat Bano campaign.
Hmm.
It was that we just told people the brief was pretty simple. We simply told people that if you're not comparing and buying, you're a fool.
Hmm.
It's as direct as possible. But because what was happening is pre Policy Bazaar, the entire the consumers, I won't say the category, the consumers were buying even without knowing what they are buying.
Hmm.
And the change that we bought was come, compare, look at what you see if you need this product or not, understand it, and then buy.
Hmm.
So the moment we said this, that if you're not checking your insurance policy, you're becoming matlab, you're an ullu. So just to say this to a consumer
Yeah.
was such a big leap of faith back that too at that point of time. That campaign, we remember, it just broke the ceiling. At the amount of traffic it generated, it was unbelievable. So that kind of gave us a confidence that
Hmm.
if we tell consumers the right thing, they will come, they will understand. And also, what Policy Bazaar did was, it kind of uh, there was a very distinct voice. It was a very distinct voice
Hmm.
than a lot of generic voices that were happening.
Hmm.
So I could see that, because I was part of the pre
Yeah.
Policy Bazaar era, where all our voices used to be, don't talk about death,
Yeah.
don't make the consumer uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Talk about the positivities of life and so on and so forth, beautiful scenarios, happy family. And here we said that so our voice was very distinct and
Yeah.
unique. And somewhere when you have a distinct and a unique voice, people do tend to listen to you. At least
Hmm.
they give you your ear for some time. That "Acha, theek hai, batao." I think they're saying something different. Let me just listen to them.
Right.
So I think that's how our relationship with our consumers started. That we said that they consumers said, "Okay, let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Let's see what how different it is." So pretty
So
much,
if I can, just interject. So,
yeah.
you mentioned that. I mean, obviously, there is no doubt about it that generally internet and players like Policy Bazaar have made the whole process transparent, and I have just more access to information, so I can take an informed call.
Yeah.
But you mentioned previously, health insurance, like you said, they didn't want only your parents,
Hmm.
or people were not really wanting these insurances in the first place.
Hmm.
But now I think that landscape has changed. Do you think there has been a change in the consumer behavior, or do you think it's the technology and the ease to pay and purchase and compare which has led to that?
There is the category which has come together to talk about the importance of protection as a whole. And also this happens to be in an era where internet is booming, where
Hmm.
even consumers find it easy to kind of immediately search for it. So I remember that earlier there was this entire when we did I remember in the insurance days, we used to do this consumer research. What is a consumer path to purchase?
Hmm.
There was one there was this behavior called ROPO, which is research online, purchase offline. So consumer at some point of started researching online, understanding, oh, this is what I want to buy, and becoming slightly more intelligent before they go. Like for example, what you do before you visit a doctor,
Yeah.
if you have an illness, you end up searching about it and trying to when the doctor is saying, you are a little more prepared of what he is talking about, so that you are in the same level, or you're trying to buy a refrigerator or a television or any other consumer durable
Right.
product. So you are researching and making yourself aware, so that you don't get conned by, or at least you're aware of what you're going to purchase. So obviously the internet, the boom of internet and e-commerce and everything, at that point of time gave consumers that freedom to kind of at least research.
Hmm.
But at the same time, there was, so all of these things came together, I would say, that there
Hmm.
was this, all the insurers also were talking about the importance of protection. There was this Policy Bazaar with a distinct voice trying to encourage consumers to come on a platform. Plus there was this entire, I remember, 2010 to 2014, 2014, 15, where the internet was booming. That's when the Flipkart and everything was growing in India. A lot of other players like Snapdeal, OLX, all of these guys were super active. Mobile phones had become, like, everyone started having. We moved from the BlackBerry era to the Android and Apple era. The shift happened between 2000, I would say 2011 to 2000, between 2010 to 2014.
Yeah.
Suddenly, no one had BlackBerry. By 2014, no one had BlackBerry. Everyone had an Android phone
Correct.
or an Apple phone. Feature phones were kind of were in a decline. Smartphones were on the rise. So all this thing were happening. So I think we were we started early, but I think the entire idea of Policy Bazaar was well poised, and also there was a lot of external factors which, and then the entire geo boom happened. I remember in 2016, 16 or
Hmm.
15 or 16, sometime the geo boom happened. So that also helped us. So obviously there were external factors, but what I would say is, the product and our intent was absolutely right. We
Yeah.
said that, no, you there are two products which is super critical for you to have. Car insurance was anyway mandatory. Initial our entire initial advertising used to be around car insurance, because that was the lowest hanging fruit. Because anyone who had a car would take an insurance, and we used to tell them, you'll get the best price on our platform, because by the virtue of comparing, you will get the lowest price. So that was an easy bait. But when we moved away, after that, we also started saying that, not just car is important, protecting yourself is important, which is term and health is also super important. Today, if I look back, I think we would have spent thousands of crores in just telling Indians the importance of having a term or health insurance. So that's how we build a category and a brand.
Fantastic. One factor you did not bring up,
Yeah,
and I don't know if you consider that as a factor in the first place, is these finfluencers.
yeah,
I'll give you my example. I think for the first time, my dad was shocked that I went to him and I told him, "Arey, ye insurance you need try karte," because it was more like a give and get. They were not selling fear. They were not selling tax savings. They were like, you can actually make this as an investment for yourself.
yeah.
Do you think that influencers have played a net positive role for you for more adoption of insurance products?
Yeah, so to be honest, I haven't. I did not reach. So in the journey, I was still in the 2016 and
Yeah,
17s. But whereas the entire influencer boom happened pretty much in the last 3 to 4 years,
correct.
pretty much. So in my journey, I was not reached there. But I think influencers, especially, has have played a very very critical role in the growth of in educating the consumers. Again, this is also again this behavior of this searching, right? So we found this behavior where people usually, there is a trend, not trend, there's a behavior that consumers on Google, when they're searching shorter keywords, like for example best term insurance or term insurance, so they have much higher search volume. So consumers are searching shorter keywords
Mhm,
with the intent of buying or buying into the category.
mhm,
Whereas on YouTube, the behavior is a long tail keyword, which is on YouTube, people would end up searching what is the best insurance plan. Or it is like question, like a proper question. So the behavior on YouTube is very on. So for video content, I won't say YouTube. Video content is very different from the behavior for pure search. So that's where these creators play a great role of educating them.
yeah.
And now I think in today's the past, we started our influencer journey 3 years ago.
Mhm.
It used to be small at the start, but now it is one of the single most important source for one of the single most important marketing source, and it is the fastest growing marketing source. Um, it is not the largest marketing source, but it's the fastest growing marketing source for us.
So
But
is that
we have a
proof
proper
that
influencer marketing team.
the distribution channel now is shifting like from traditional ad marketing to now like collaborating with influencers in your opinion?
No, I think it's. I won't say. Look, I think we usually what we do is that we feel that if something is working or something is growing fast, that is going to be the future.
Hmm.
But that's not the way to look. So there are. So as you said, India is a vast country. Huh? And consumers uh, do multiple things. Even today, there is a huge consumer base who watch linear TV. जो जाके अपना न्यूज चैनल देखते हैं, सोनी मैक्स देखते हैं, टीवी पे क्रिकेट देखते हैं. But then there is also a consumer who is on say a OTT platform or YouTube. They only consume content there. There is a set of consumer who like to read and then understand. Then there is a set of consumer who would like to understand from videos and buy and get influence from that and then buy. So what our approach is very different. Our approach is that to have the right media mix. So if you ask me today, we do almost all of these marketing sources. Like for example, we advertise on TV. We are through the year we are present on search. We use YouTube or video content very very aggressively. We also do influencers. So it is the right mix. So but if you ask me that, so everyone does not have unlimited budgets, right? If you have limited budget, you are starting a journey, starting your journey, then influencers are a great way of getting this instant
Push.
kickstart, instant push at a much lower cost. So that's a good journey. But at if when you are at a scale like ours, then you can't suddenly start ignoring us a marketing source, and even influencers have a certain scale.
Yeah. Correct.
It suddenly, I can't expect it to replace
Yeah.
one of our mainstay sources.
Absolutely.
But
Got it. Yeah. I was,
influencers have been super critical for us, and we have an dedicated team of influencers who are managing, and we're seeing a very fast growth.
fantastic. I was about to ask you on the budget front only for the younger startups, and you answered that.
Yeah.
So I'll hop on to something we briefly touched upon. I wanted to get a perspective on generally tonality.
Hmm.
Okay, now if I'm building something in the insurtech space or the fintech space, there has been, like you said, a saying that don't play on fear. One of the cool things I had heard long time ago when I was a kid was insurance sells fear, and obviously brands know that bit, and they try their best not to go about selling fear as such. But I thoroughly enjoyed your campaigns with Kapil Sharma, with Pankaj Tripathi, where it's more like tongue-in-cheek humor, where you're kind of making them understand, what life after death could be for their family and things around that particular context. Now, at the same time, Sai, I also recently saw the Aapka Apna Sathi campaign, which is so much more like heartfelt. It's kind of talking a little bit more about we'll solve all your problems when you're in a tough position. Like my team will take care. You don't have to stress on that when your husband is not well. How as a company who's just launching, what would be your recommendation, right? Because there's a spectrum of tonality you maintain. Is that something you've decided to do? Is it that the tonality has changed over time? Any perspectives there would be really helpful.
Look, I think that's a great question, yeah, because a lot of times what happens is that the classical marketing way is to there is one tonality and one message. Like for example, the entire I always give this example of the entire Unilever surf's tonality of dirt is good. But for the longest time before dirt is good, they used to be in the Indian context they used to be Safedi ki Chamkar. For the longest time they surf promoted Safedi ki Chamkar. Till the time you don't have that crisp white shirt, no one takes you seriously, or therefore it does wonders for you. And from after that they change the tonality towards dirt is good, and then that was a journey. So that's exactly how our journey at Policy Bazaar has been. So what we understood, first, the birth of Policy Bazaar, and at that point of time the entire category needed a push, whereas a consumer needed education. Consumer needed to be told that why is it important to have a term insurance, why is it important to have health insurance. And then we were the only brand who pretty much were taking that risk of walking on the rope of talking about death, and with the tongue-in-cheek humor, as you said, but we never minced our words. We said things the way it is, that kya hoga. We have done even darker campaigns in terms of we explore the area of death on all possible ways. So in fact, there is a running joke between me and my brand head and our agency that ki अब डेथ में ना कुछ बचा नहीं है बोलने को. So anyway, we've done that. But we also felt that there is another aspect, which is when you buy an insurance product, unlike a mobile phone or a car, you don't actually get anything. You don't get anything. There is nothing physical that you get. You just get a PDF on your WhatsApp or on your email. If you open the PDF, it's like it's like a long list of things. Your Vedic Puran or something, which that it is important. It is important to there is something important there, but you don't understand a word. So that is what you get, right, when you buy a insurance product. But the consumer actually experiences the product only at the time of claim. That is the only time a consumer experiences a product. And if the experience is not good, then the trust just goes. Well, there's no coming back from that. So more than the marketing effort, the building trust is actually more of a back end customer service effort, which we just brought it on air. So our at Policy Bazaar, our customer service, our business teams have worked tirelessly to actually put up this entire dedicated claims team who actually are go on ground and help consumers at the time of claim and handhold them through the entire claims process,
Hmm.
be it for term, be it for health. There is another important project that we do, which is something called a Claim Samadhan Divas, in
Mhm.
which we invite consumers whose claims have been rejected by the health insurance companies themselves. We invite them and we get their cases, and we sit in a room. We get the insurer, get the underwriter. We Policy Bazaar is there, and the consumer is there, and we review that entire claim again. Through this process, we would have settled a multitude of cases. I don't remember the number, but we have settled multitude of cases. So all this is done to improve the consumer experience.
Hmm.
So therefore, all the ads that you see of consumers talking about, I got the claim, they are not actors. They are actual, real customers.
Wow.
That's why you won't see that it's no fancy production or a model standing there and talking about consumer. It is real consumers who we have helped, who have volunteered to appear in an ad and talk about their claims experience.
Yeah.
So we just put it on. So what this does is that this entire approach, this tells the consumer that product that you're buying for, the promise that we made at the time of buying this product, we are actually fulfilling it. So
Hmm.
therefore, you might not be able to take a selfie of your product when you buy it, like a car or your new shoes, and put it on Instagram. But at least at the time of experience, you will be able to share this with a lot of people. So that's
Got
where
it.
it's more than a tonality change. It is more that our task of marketing is to get more and more people, but at the same time tell those people that tell people who are not, who still don't have trust on the category, that look, if you buy a product, we have the back end to help. So that's why you would see that we do both now. We're at a stage where we should be doing both.
Got it. Got it. Interesting. And on the trust facts, I think that brings me to my next question. You mentioned your trust deficit is there. It's a big one, and that's why. And as you were discussing, I also work in the insurance space with some clients. There's a huge reliance on agents now, as a company which is trying to be the future of insurance. Do you see that this whole need of agents will go away through digitization and product led things, or will it stay?
Both has to coexist. Yeah, it will never go away, because no, in India still people, there is a huge bunch of people who still want that there is a one person who I can reach out to if there is something that happens to me. There is someone, if I'm handing over my money, I need to know that one person to call or speak. There is this touch and feel is still there. So it's not that since after Amazon came, it's not that there are mobile handset stores have shut down, right? That does not happen. So this entire phygital model is not just a term. It's not a marketing. A bunch of marketers sitting there have not created this phygital term. The phygital term is pretty much real.
Hmm.
The reason I'm saying this is because we also operate in a phygital model.
Hmm.
So people who are coming online, it's not that everyone is buying through and through online. We have a call center who kind of assist them, call them, and tell them you came to our site for this product, will help you buy. If someone says that no, I don't have time to talk right now, then we propose to them that can we send someone to your house
Okay.
when you are comfortable. So then there is an entire FOS team, which is a feet on street team, who go to the consumer's house and help them complete. Now the entire scenario is that there is a pull, and after that, I won't say it's a push, but it's a fulfillment, more of a fulfillment where a consumer can be, we can even reach out to them at their convenience. That also builds such. So phygital is a very very real model. So to be honest, when COVID happened, we all felt it's doomsday for anything physical. We all felt that. I felt that sitting in our houses, we felt that technology is the only thing. People who are in technology, tech stocks were growing, and
Yeah.
everything else was going down, and we felt that doomsday has come, and then that's and the world will change after that. But we are in a scenario, right? You don't get parking in the mall anymore.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
it used to happen. Cinema halls are packed again. So So that change, suddenly you can't, this won't happen, because human being need human beings. Till the time human race exists, human beings would need human beings. They just can't rely on technology. That's a different thing. You can be sitting in a restaurant and still be on technology, but but still they want to go to a restaurant with a human being, still be on technology. That will still
True.
happen.
True, you're absolutely right. I think it's also, I think the overall commitment which is long term,
Yeah,
recurring, and it's decent amounts for a lot of Indians, that's it's also scary. So I think having somebody I can talk to generally works pretty well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, that this I now wanted to hop on to an attribution problem. Now I run a very small marketing team, obviously compared to yours, and even at our stage, attribution becomes a big issue when I'm doing, let's say, digital marketing, when I'm doing content marketing, when I'm doing just general things, like we are a sales-led organization. So even when we do things for sales, where attribution comes from is a big challenge for me, and I have two examples for you. I know for a fact that the IPL, the Asia Cup, you have supported these sporting events, and then there are aspects like, I think it's the tax season, so you have a very extensive report which you've created. How do you measure the efficacy of these campaigns? Because there are so many touch points or so many second, third, fourth order effects after which a customer will probably transact with you. I wanted your 2 cents on that.
No, I think again a great question, and over the years we have really fine tuned our attribution model, and but it starts with a thought. It starts with a commitment, and at Policy Bazaar, and as a marketing function, our very simple commitment is that every dollar spent on sourcing a customer needs to be measured. It's as simple as that. Whatever be the source, be it you're spending on IPL, you're spending on television, you're spending on, if you're doing on radio, or if you're doing digital marketing, if you're doing video marketing, if you're doing anything, even if you're doing PR, you might not measure the business from that, but there has to be some measurement set in place. And we have this entire philosophy of, if you try, you can measure everything. While this might sound nice, but I'll tell you how we actually do it. So measuring digital is pretty much easy, because you have the entire links, and you have entire UTM sources and everything in place. If I'm advertising through Facebook or Google or YouTube or any other affiliate or influencer, everything can be pretty much measured and attributed the way it is. The larger challenge comes when you're doing something offline, like for example television, or you're doing advertising on a big ticket item like IPL or World Cup. You are in Hotstar, and so on and so forth. How do you measure that? Our simple measurement metric is that when you advertise, our free traffic should increase. What is free traffic? There are three, four sources which form the free traffic. One is if someone directly types on the URL, say policybazaar.com, and comes to a site, that is a direct source. Someone searches on Google and clicks on an organic link, that's also free. Someone downloads the app, comes to us without any ad intervention. So all that is considered as free traffic. So when we advertise on large platforms like a television, or on Hotstar, or on JioCinema, uh, we say that what is the incremental traffic that is coming from these sources.
Hmm.
And we've over the years we've understood that there is this second screen phenomena, wherein what happens is that if I'm watching on a big screen, I'm watching a content, and if the content is engaging enough, I'll end up searching for it.
Yeah.
Like it would be that you're watching maybe a, let's say, you're watching a TV show,
Yeah.
and you've seen a character on the TV show, and you said, "Oh, I've seen this character somewhere." You know the name, and you would be curious, what all films this person has done. You'll end up searching about that person, and then you will actually go into the wormhole and end up watching some of the content of that person. That so similarly, we say that if a piece of content is engaging enough, you'll end up searching for it.
Hmm.
So that's why all our communication, we try and make it very, very direct and engaging enough, so that when we are advertising on these platforms, people are engaged enough to search about Policy Bazaar.
Hmm.
So when our ads are on air, or on any of these platforms, what we do is the T plus 1, T plus 2, T plus 3 days, we look at the incremental incremental traffic that we get. So that's how we measure this. So anything non-digital, we have a way of measuring. Anything digital, we have a way of measuring. So and we also have logics built in that, we measure cost per lead. If what is the cost per lead we are okay to pay for digital, what is the cost per lead we are okay to pay for non-digital source. So all that metric is pretty much built in. So
Correct.
I think the entire logic, if anyone is starting out, they should think that, a lot of people would end up saying, even I have done it in my past earlier, that, oh, this source is just for brand building. Everything is for brand building,
Yeah.
but that brand building needs to translate to something. Maybe maybe in the first month, it translates into a lower number,
Mm.
but month two, month three, somewhere the metric needs to move, and it needs to be some real metric, not my TOMA increased, like top of mind recall increase, awareness increase, which is fine. That also should increase, but that can't be the only metric. मतलब तुम्हारा top of mind recall increase हो रहा है, but तुम्हारे sales और leads increase नहीं हो रहा है, so that doesn't make sense.
Correct. Yeah, those are all vanity metrics. So I
Yeah.
think thanks for the example. I think finally, one of the first rare times I've actually gotten a great way to track offline traffic. With the increase in organic. So thanks for that. I now wanted to hop into just the last one two questions. I know we are almost at the end of time. First one is about understanding your creative production stack, and this is something which something I'm personally very interested in. We constantly talk to marketing leaders like you, and one thing which really troubles marketeers is just generally creative bandwidth. It gets choked up very quickly because it's usually sporadic and spontaneous. So I wanted to kind of understand from you, what's the creative stack or the production stack at Policy Bazaar? Is it an in-house team? Is it an outsourced team? Do you work with agencies? Do you work on project basis? If you can unpack that, it'll really help other marketers plan their marketing stack.
I like to call it video content. So the video content is pretty much divided into two parts. One is the big brand films that kind of, that big ticket. You can call it the commercial blockbuster kind of like the entire Kapil Sharma, Pankaj Tripathi, Akshay Kumar, those
Yeah.
kind of campaigns, which is run by our brand team. For that, I think since the beginning, Samir is a brand head, and I and Samir have been working together for past 8-9 years together. So earlier we used to work with a creative agency. When we started, there was Lo Lintas who was the creative agency, and there was a big gap where there was this production house and 2-3 called K Silent Films, and all the founders were a friend of mine from ex advertising days. So we started, I and Samir started working with them directly. Like, for example, we used to give them briefs. They used to come up with creative ideas, and we used to just go and shoot, and we used to, like, pretty much be on edits, sit and get the work done and everything. That was the longest period. And now we're back to the old agency model where, we feel that, we want more and more creative work, but our production house is pretty much the same,
Mm-hmm.
who used to work with us since the beginning. So we again have a creative agency there. So the entire big blockbuster production is managed by a brand team, and it is the creative and the production both is through a production house. That production house is pretty much like an in-house production house, but they do work with other clients as well. But
Okay.
our work is given the most priority, I would say. So, but because we've developed relationships, and there is a serious volume of work that goes to them. So that is one part. Then there is a other part where we churn out education videos. Like, for example, if you go to a YouTube channel, there are there are different content buckets that we have created. Like, for example, there is a podcast that we also create.
Yeah.
And the entire objective of these videos is education and not selling. It's pure education around insurance. So all of this content is created in house, and it's been divided into different content buckets. Like, for example, we have this entire program called Sunday Wellness, wherein we invite a guest from health area or wellness area, and someone from our team is interviewing them, and we do a live show. And then there is product explainer videos. Again, someone from our team, so we create script, do it. So there is an entire video team, there's an
Mm-hmm.
editing team, there is a content writing team who does just this, and we also have like a small in-house studio, like a blue screen where you can go and do all the studios. Like we also have content backend, like we do an unfiltered with the leaders of Policy Bazaar, and we also do a lot of employee engagement stuff, videos and employee engagement. So there's an entire video team which does this. So the objective, there are twofold objective. One is employee engagement, showcasing our leaders as thought leaders, and also consumer education.
Got it. Got it.
So broadly it's divided into these two content. We do work with agencies when the bandwidth internally is choked. So we work with content agencies here and there, but we don't have anyone regular on board apart from the for brand
Yeah,
campaign.
got it. Oh, fantastic. I think overall it's a big setup. All kinds of permutation combinations are there. So interesting to hear that. I'll hop on to the last question for
Yes.
you, Sai. So IRDAI, which said in their consumer insights report that by 2047, uh, every Indian is going to be insured. And I know for a fact that even Policy Bazaar's vision is that, where your tagline clearly puts it out that her family hogi insured. So, in your opinion, like, what do you think are the biggest blockers for any company to get every Indian insured today? And what do you think can be some needle moving things one could do?
No, I think some I just feel, I'll be very honest. If everyone is working towards this, which is educating insurance about Indians about getting insured. I think one of the biggest barrier even today is which we need to battle is consumer inertia. Even today, there is a lot of consumer inertia around insurance as a category. I think somewhere we need to be persistent and keep battling that consumer inertia.
Sorry to cut you, Sai. Can you tell a little bit about what consumer inertia is?
Consumer inertia here would be that it's like it develops from procrastination. That look, insurance is not on people's mind. Yeah, you don't wake up in the morning and think about insurance, right? There are so many other things that you do think about. That's why quick commerce is growing the way it is growing, right? Because that's, you need to order your milk, and not, you don't wake up in the morning and order an insurance first thing, right? You you order milk from the quick commerce app, or you do other stuff. So somewhere बाद में कर लेंगे attitude वो है ना थोड़ा सा, वो सब में, वो मेरे में भी है. So even I have battled it. Even if you think of, if you have 4 things to do and the insurance is one of them, you will put it the last, right? So therefore that inertia needs to be broken, and they need to be told that urgent was important. No, we all focus on the urgent and not on the important.
True.
So somewhere, the important thing needs to take precedence over urgent. So somewhere, if you look that the important thing, which is your protecting your family and protecting your, like for example, I've been wanting to do a certain thing for a while. Like for example, even creating a small thing like a will, you know.
Mhm.
I've been just procrastinating. Whereas
Right.
that's the single most important thing. So you
True.
don't know what happens, right? Tomorrow, life is full of surprises. So it's so I don't want to end it on a dark note, but but I'm saying that, but that inertia is something which we need to overcome, and only then every Indian can be insured.
Got it. Got it. No, but I think it's a really exciting note to end this on. There's a lot to do, and I think you've charted out that consumer inertia is a big hurdle for everybody in this place to kind of tackle. But that's our time, Sai. Thank you so much. I hope you had fun.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you so much. It was very exciting, and I really enjoyed the chat.
Fantastic. And for everybody who's tuned in so far, do tune in next week as well. We'll have another fantastic marketeer and a CMO like Sai join us. And if you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.